Welcome to Dr. CM Edcast, your go-to resource for medical learning. Through discussions, case studies, tutorials, and debates, we help you learn, grow, serve.
You know, deep inside your brain, there's a structure that's no bigger than an almond. But don't let its size fool you. It holds this incredible power over our survival, our emotions, and our most basic drives. We're talking about the hypothalamus, the brain's own master regulator. So, what is it that controls all of that? Well, the answer lies right here, in this one unbelievably complex region. You can always think of it as the silent conductor of this huge orchestra that is our body's internal functions. So here's what we're going to cover. We're going to take a journey right into the core of the brain. We'll start with its role as the master regulator, then we'll check out its anatomy, map its complex connections, break down its most important functions, and finally we'll see what happens when this delicate system, well, when it fails. Okay, let's dive right in by getting a handle on why the hypothalamus is so fundamentally important. Its main job, its whole mission, really, is to maintain our body's delicate internal balance. And that state is known as homeostasis. And this definition, it's absolutely crucial. Homeostasis is this constant, ongoing process of keeping our internal world stable. You know, making sure our temperature, our hydration, our energy levels are all just right no matter what's going on around us. The hypothalamus is basically the command center for this whole operation. So, to really understand how it pulls all this off, we first have to see what it looks like and where it is. So let's take a look at where it's positioned, right at the very core of the brain. As you can see right here, the hypothalamus is sitting in this really strategic spot, just below the thalamus, deep in the brain's core. And its central location is no accident, believe me. It is the perfect place to be a hub, taking in information and sending out commands to pretty much every part of the brain and the body. And even though it's tiny, it's incredibly organized. It's split into medial and lateral zones, and then it's arranged into 4 different regions from front to back. Now, inside these regions are these specialized clusters of neurons called nuclei, and each one has a very specific job to do. And within those regions, you find these nuclei. For instance, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, that's our biological clock. The paraventricular nucleus is vital for releasing hormones, and the mammillary bodies, they're involved in memory. Every single one of these little clusters is a functional powerhouse with a highly specific task. But, you know, anatomy is only half the story. A structure's real power is defined by its connections. And let me tell you, the hypothalamus is a master communicator plugged into this massive neural network. This diagram really gives you a sense of the sheer scale of its wiring. The hypothalamus is constantly getting flooded with incoming information. We call these afferent pathways, and it's sending out very precise commands through what we call efferent pathways. It truly is the brain's central processing hub. So here's the bottom line. It's all about two-way communication. The afferent pathways bring in all the data, everything from your blood pressure to how much light is in the room. Then the efferent pathways carry out the response, telling glands to release hormones or adjusting all those automatic functions. And get this, look at where it's getting all its information from. It's hearing from the limbic system, which tells it about our emotional state. It's getting raw data from the brainstem about our internal organs, and it gets a direct feed from the retina about light, which is so important for setting our daily rhythms. Okay, so now that we've seen its structure and its connections, we can really start to appreciate all the diverse and critical jobs it has. It really is the body's conductor. And we're back to the central concept, homeostasis. Just about every function we're about to talk about is all in service of this one goal, keeping a stable internal state even when the world outside is constantly changing. So first up, the hypothalamus has direct control over the autonomic nervous system. The front part, the anterior, stimulates the rest and digest system, slowing the heart rate, helping with digestion. Then the back part, the posterior, activates the fight or flight response, getting the body ready for action. It's also the master of the endocrine system. That's our hormone system. As you can see here, the hypothalamus kicks off a whole chain reaction. It makes hormones that travel to the pituitary gland. Then, the pituitary releases its own hormones. And that sets off this cascade of effects that control metabolism, stress, growth, you name it. This is a fantastic illustration of that delicate balance. The lateral hypothalamus, that's the feeding center. You stimulate that, you feel hungry. But the ventromedial hypothalamus is the satiety center.
Stimulating that tells you you're full. It's like an on-off switch for hunger, with these two centers working together to regulate how much we eat.
And then there's the body's master clock. This part, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN for short, syncs up all our internal rhythms to the 24-hour day. Because it gets direct input from our eyes about light and dark, it can perfectly orchestrate our sleep-wake cycle and all the rhythms of our hormones and body temperature. So we've seen all the incredible responsibilities it has, which means we can now think about the pretty profound consequences that happen when the hypothalamus gets damaged or just isn't working right. Well, the answer really shows you just how vital this tiny structure is. A problem here doesn't just cause one little symptom, it can trigger a whole cascade of failures throughout the entire system. The effects are just so wide-ranging. Damage can cause autonomic instability, serious sleep disorders like narcolepsy, or severe hormonal imbalances. It can mess with the body's water balance, leading to a condition called diabetes insipidus, or it can even cause something called sham rage, just uncontrolled aggression without any real cause. You know, this statement just captures it perfectly. The hypothalamus works completely behind the scenes, below the level of our consciousness, silently governing the very drives that shape our daily lives and, frankly, ensure we survive. It's really a profound thing to think about, isn't it? This tiny, elegant structure is orchestrating a constant, complex symphony inside of us. It's a reminder that our most basic feelings, our most fundamental functions, are all rooted deep, deep within the core of our brains.